Good morning, guys. I am here to talk to you about the project 1.2, which we went over in class yesterday, but I said I would make a video to sort of walk you through step by step everything that we've done. So this is the screen that you should see when you first open Vectorworks. If you're struggling with your Vectorworks license, make sure that you signed up for the Vectorworks educational version. Otherwise, you won't find the code to enter to get it to open. So what you're going to do is over here at the top left, you're going to just click on blank document to sort of open a new document. And it's just going to title it Untitled 2, or probably 1 for you guys. And we want to save it as the title, the blank document title. So just go up to File, Save As, and then you're going to just type in blank document. And then put your name on it. Just so that if you ever turn a document in to me, it says your name, so I know whose it is. The first thing that we want to do is flip our page so that it is horizontal rather than vertical. And what we're going to do is go up to File, go down to Page Setup. Sometimes you have to hit the Choose Size Unavailable, and that just gives you a little more flexibility. So go down to your printer setup. Your screen might look a little bit different. Mine automatically connects to my printer here at home, and it's going to connect to whatever printer you're closest to that you've sort of established with. So go ahead and hit any printer. That just creates sort of a more flexible workspace opportunity. And then hit your landscape. Make sure that your scaling right here is at 100%. A lot of times our printers automatically set it to like 97% or 96% or scale to fit, and that is not good because that changes the scale in which we're working in. So just make sure it says 100%, press OK, and then go ahead and press OK again, and it should switch. If you're having trouble with that, just let me know. Sometimes there are different settings that are turned on that inhibit what you're working on. So the next thing that we want to do is remember our organization is visible down here in navigation. We are working in is the design layer, which is the second one over. It's the little diamonds on top of each other. But what we are adjusting are the classes, and the classes are here on the left. That this is like the equivalent to layers in Photoshop or whatever. So in order to change classes and add classes, we go up to Tools, Organization, and as you can see, it sort of correlates up here in our organization classes. Design layers is right next to that. So make sure that you're selected onto class layers, and again, we're going to create a new class layer. I'm going to do the class title as pencil box, because these are our different line weights that we're creating. And we want to start with a thick, visible line. Then just press OK. Again, this up here at the top left, the Use It Creation, if you don't hit Use It Creation, it will not select the different line weights when you draw, and it basically would makes it so that there's no reason to create these different line weight classes. So in the pen style, we're going to start with solid, leave it as black, but instead of the 0.05 for the thick visible line, we will make it 0.50, which is, as you can see, quite a bit thicker. And then just press OK. We're going to do that again for all of the different line weights that the book requests of us. So we're going to do medium visible line. Press OK. Use it creation. Solid again. This time for medium, we're going to do 0.35. And then press OK. And as you can see, it's automatically generating the pencil box, and then we're just adding subclasses to that class. I'm going to do this one in 0.18, even though in class I said 0.25, which is totally fine either way. Next, we are going to do, we're going to do the hidden line. This is the one that's dashed, so I'm going to note that. So instead of solid over here in the top left for your pen style, I'm going to go to line type, and it automatically is selecting that dashed line, which is perfect. 0.35 is our standardized thickness. So we're going to press OK. We're going to do a new one, and we're going to do those construction lines. And use it creation. I want my construction lines to be a different color, so I clicked on this, the black, and I'm just gonna select sort of, there was an easier way to do this, but that's all right. I'm gonna do sort of this blue. You can do black, or you can do any color that you want. It's really up to you. Thickness at a 0.05. So go ahead and press OK. And you know what? I did not, on my light visible, I didn't hit use it creation. So I'm going to go back and do that. And then press OK. So now that we have set up all of those separate classes, you can see that everything we created is over here in our navigation bar. So the first thing we want to do is do our borders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my check mark go onto the construction lines, and then when you first open Vectorworks, you're going to notice that my cursor sort of finds page center, it finds the outside of my page. It's that green dotted line is going to find aligning with a vertical line, aligning horizontally right here. So these are what are called your snap features. And when you go up right up here, you can see it says snapping, and anything that is selected orange is turned on. So if I turn this snap to angle off, then it's no longer, well, it is finding horizontal, but it won't necessarily find the different angles to the different items that you've created. So I'm going to shut that off, and I'm going to teach you lines, creating those borders the way that we did in class as a traditional, just as a traditional drafting style. It's finding, I'm in construction lines, it's finding the page top and left. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but it's just easier. So I'm gonna draw a line right along that page top. And then what I can do is I can move this line 1/2 inch down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Command M, and that's gonna move it. So the X offset, this is a horizontal offset. So this is your horizontal axis going left and right on your page. The Y offset is going up and down on your page. And your page is basically lined up with your screen. Okay, so I'm going to move it, I want to move it down on my page, so that's my Y. And I'm going to move it negative because I'm going down and I'm not going up. So I'm going to put a negative, and we are in 1/4 inch scale, so you have to do a little bit of math here. In 1/4 inch scale, if I was going to move it, I would have to move it negative. See, it's kind of breaking my brain. I'm sorry. 2 feet. So that's fine. And then it moves it 1/2 inch down on your actual physical page. Next reference construction line I'm going to draw is over on the right. I'm going to move that, so Command M. Instead of moving it on the Y axis, I'm going to move it on the X because we want to move it sideways. So we're going to move that 2 feet 0 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to move that 2 feet 0 inches. This time I'm going to do positive because it's moving up on my screen. Oops, I don't need a D in there. On the left-hand side, we're going to move it in 4 feet because we want it to be either 1 inch or we want it to be 1.5 inches. So you could do 4 or you could do 6 feet. Oops, I put it in the wrong axis. So I'm going to hit Command Z, which is just undo. I'm going to try moving it again. And instead of the Y axis, I'm going to do it on the X axis. Okay, so these are those construction lines that we talked about in class. And so eventually they're going to be deleted. I'm going to go to my thick visible line because that is our 0.50 lead weight, line weight. And I'm just going to use these reference points that I've found. And from point to point, I'm just going to connect the dots. And now you know that those are in the right spot. And then you're going to come and just delete those construction lines. The next thing we want to do is start doing our different line weights on your page. So what I want you to do is come back over to the line tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right over the top. Oops, you know what I want to do? First of all, I want to go make sure my check mark is on construction lines. and then from point to point. And then all I'm going to do is use that move button again. So Command M, and then we're going to move it on the Y axis. And we're going to go ahead and go negative, and we wanted it 1 inch in between. So in 1/4 inch scale, we need 4 of those. So we want to move it 4 feet, 0 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I can duplicate this line by just hitting Command D, which it's duplicated. You can't see it because it's right over the top. And then I'm going to hit Command M. That's going to move it. I've already got that measurement set up, and so I can just press OK. So I'm going to do it one more time. Command D for duplicate. Command M, we're going to move it -4 feet. Duplicate again. Command D, Command M for move, -4 feet on the Y axis. And you can do that as many times as you need. So Command D, Command M, -4 feet. Okay. And then what we can do is we can come over to our pencil box in our navigation, and we can just start with our, we want to start with our thick visible line. So click on that for thick visible line. And then you can just start right over here. What I'm going to do is I am going to start about 3/4 of the way in. Well, actually it's more than 3/4. It's 1/4 of the way on the line, because I think it's visually more pleasing for it not to go all the way to the edge of the paper. You can make it go all the way to the edge of the paper, and there's not going to be, you won't get docked for that at all. I just like to keep things centered and be thinking about the negative space around the objects that I'm drafting. So there's that thick visible line. I'm going to do a medium visible line. Again, it's my snaps are on, so it's clicking right to that point on the line. I'm going to do my light visible line. I'm going to do my hidden line. And then I'm actually going to leave one of my construction lines. And what I'm going to do is get my cursor over here, the selection tool. You can also go to that automatically by just touching the X on your keyboard. That's the shortcut, is X. But I'm just going to select this, and if I try to move it when my cursor looks white like this, or when it looks like a crossbar, it will just move the whole line, which you want sometimes, but that's not what we want to do. So I'm going to Command Z to move it back in place. Okay, so when it has this nice diagonal line, you can select the endpoint and drag the end of it to change the shape of your object. So I'm going to click and drag, and it found that 1/4 of the line point. I'm going to click there. I'm going to do this at the other side as well with that diagonal line. Click. It's not really finding it, so I'm going to, if I touch that, it should connect. Yep, there we go. Awesome. And then we don't need this bottom line, so I'm just simply going to click on that and hit the delete button. And then I'm going to go back up and I'm going to delete all of these construction lines so that all I have left is my my beautiful array of different line weights that we have going on here. So this is the hidden line, visible, the medium line, light visible, the dashed line, and our construction line. If this was a drafting and these were, if we were looking at a bird's eye view and these were like different drops that were hung in the air, what I would do next is hit text, and I would simply put the description of what these are sort of at the bottom right hand side. So this one would be the thick visible line, and then I would sort of align that to the end, and I would come over here to my attributes. Oh, it's in class style, which is totally fine, but I just don't like when my lettering has a white block behind it. It's just a preference. But I can just copy that. So duplicate, Command D. I'm going to move it. It's set up to move the exact right amount. So this is down here, and I can just change that to medium. Duplicate, move. This is kind of a bonus, and if you don't want to do this on your page, I am okay with that. Okay, and then in order to zoom directly into the page, up here in the top right hand side, there's two different zooms. If I hit this one on the left, it just centers me right on my page. So in order to turn this into D2L, I want you to turn it into a PDF. All you have to do in order to do that is say File, Export down here, and then you have so many options. Going to do Export as PDF, and everything should be set up. I like to do about a 300 DPI. And then hit export. Don't save it as blank document, because that blank document we are going to use over and over again. So what I want you to do is title it as 1.2, because that's our assignment number, and then line weights, and then your name. Save it wherever you want. I'm saving it right to my desktop, and then this is what you will turn in to D2L. So it should just pop right up. It always is going to say educational version, because we are not paying for it. And this is what you turn in. Alrighty. Email me if you have any questions. Thanks, guys. Bye.